Hey everybody again. All right, so now I'm moving on to the next step, which is making the dough for the pierogies. So what I have here is 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Now please, never ever use the brown flour or whatever it's called because it tastes disgusting for pierogies, okay? I also have 2 tablespoons of olive oil there. I have 1 cup of lukewarm water. And I have some salt. The eggs are in the fridge. And that was actually a thing I forgot to buy, so I'm really hoping there's enough eggs. So what I'm gonna do is, the first thing is you add your dry ingredients. So, 3 cups of flour. And then, about 3 or 4, or however you like it, shakes of salt. That came out faster than I thought it would. Alright, and then you put a little kind of dent in there for all your thick liquid. So I put the olive oil in now. Dun dun dun. All right, now I'm gonna go find out if we have eggs. So, all right, let me see here. Oh, we do. Good. I'm not gonna show you the fridge because it's an utter mess in there. I don't want to get in trouble. All right, so I'm gonna put in a couple eggs. I don't know what just fell, but I'm sure it's gonna be okay. So egg number 1. And egg number 2. Okay, for the 3rd egg, and I'm gonna have to put the camera down for this, so you might have to look at me for a second, is I would like to just put an egg yolk in it. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the yellow egg yolk just adds a little color to the dough. So just 1 second. So let me tell you a story about food and eggs. A while ago, when I was in the seminary, I thought that, well, let me put it this way. I said one time while we were on a retreat, I said, "What's that on the wall there?" And it was this wooden thing with 2 holes in it. And the priest that I was with, he said, "You don't know what that is?" Now, you have to understand that I grew up in the city. I don't have a clue what farming is. It was a yoke. And as scripture says, Christ's yoke is easy, his burden is light, and so on and so forth. Well, I always thought that particular passage, they were talking about how Jesus liked his eggs cooked. So I was clueless. And so that just goes to show you that it helps you to know a little thing about the world in order to even understand scripture. So it all of a sudden made sense. But actually what I loved about that particular passage in scripture, once I realized what it was talking about, was that I noticed that there were 2 holes in this plow. And I thought, 1 hole is for my head, but who's the other hole for? It's for Christ. And so Christ carries our burdens with us, and he's God, and so he will take on whatever extra load that we can't possibly carry. I just think that's kind of beautiful. All right, so now the other thing I would like to do is I would like to mix this together before I add the water, okay? So for this mixing, my suggestion is use a hook because it's just too messy if you use anything else. You could, of course, use your hands and do it the old-fashioned style. But God gave us a brain and technology for a reason, so mix that together. All right. Die, eggs, die. All right, so as that's mixing, basically you want it to kind of become a little bit chalky in there. All right, so as it's mixing, you're gonna want it to thoroughly mix in. Kind of a blurry, there we go, it's a bit more clear. Let me get a spoon. See, now you're gonna know where everything is in this kitchen. Spoon. Don't ever put your hands in there, children. You'll lose your hand, or it'll be hurt. It's getting close. See how it's kind of chalky, it's kind of crumbly, if you will. love this part. So amazing. Alright. Now I'm going to slow it down a little bit, and then I'm going to add the lukewarm water. Now, mind you, there are different recipes to make pierogies. So this is just one of them. This is the Father Petrashko way that he inherited from his family. Now I'm going to add that lukewarm water, but I'm going to do it very slowly, okay? And you don't have to add the whole cup. You may have to add more. It just kind of depends if you didn't measure the flour well enough. Basically, you want it to turn into a lump, like it is right now. Pour some on this side here. Haha, yeah. Take that. Alright. Speed that guy up. Mash it together. Mead, dough mead. Oh, and make sure that this locking mechanism is on, because otherwise, boom, it'll just fly up, and that's not good. So it'll take just a while to knead, because you really want to get all of the ingredients in there mixed up pretty evenly. And you really do not want chunky dough. That's looking a lot better. Alright. So the next step is going to be, after the dough is done, is you're going to get a flat surface. I'm going to use the kitchen table. And on the flat surface you're going to put flour. And you're just going to coat the whole thing of dough in flour. And then you'll roll it out, and I'll show you how we fill them. Okay. The other thing is that I put the chocolate filling into the freezer so that it hardens. When you put filling into a pierogi, the one thing you don't want it to do is to be runny, because if any of the filling gets on the outside part of the pierogi, it'll probably all leak out when you boil it in the water. So if you chill it out, if you make it cold, it becomes a little more thick and easier to manage, okay? So stay tuned for the next part.